Aiora. So, in this lesson, I'm going to review L'alfabeto Vèneto, the Venet alphabet. I'll also go a bit into some of the common diacritics and digraphs used in the Venet language and where those letter combinations are found. Of course, there are many different dialects of La Lingua Veneta, and this lesson is only meant to give some examples of the Venetian translation of American English words. Some translations may be entirely inaccurate, and there's also likely to be contamination from neighboring dialects, such as Fiorentino and Portuguese. So, here it is, L'alfabeto Vèneto. Venet is a Romance language, and so when a Venet person texts or types, he does so using the Latin alphabet in the Latin script. There are 24 letters, and if one's already familiar with the Latin alphabet, then most of these should look pretty familiar. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and quickly run through them all before reviewing each one closer. A, B, C, C, S, D, D, E, F, G, H, I, longo, L, L, evanescente, M, N, O, P, R, S, T, U, V, X, Z. Ayora. So the first letter, normally makes this sort of open mid-back unrounded vowel, or sometimes it might make a open back unrounded vowel, ah. The second letter, be, almost always makes a voiced bilabial plosive, be, be. Che can make a couple of different sounds. If it's followed by or e, it makes the voiceless post-alveolar affricate, like che or chi. But if it's followed by any other letter besides those two, then it just makes the voiceless velar plosive, like kappa, ka, a ka. Cesadia. Now, not every dialect in La Lingua Veneta uses cesadia, but you might see it in words around the Istriana Peninsula in Hrvatska, or Provincia de Treviso, as well as Friul and Trent in Italy. Basically makes two sounds really close together. It's the voiceless stental plosive, followed immediately by a voiceless alveolar sibilant. So it's the same as the letter T followed by S, so tsa, et sa. De can make a couple of sounds. Often it's going to be the voiced alveolar plosive, like de, de. But if it's followed by aka, then it makes a voiced dental fricative, like a the. De and aka aren't together everywhere Venet is spoken. They're often only in words around El Fiume Piave, the Piave River, like in the mountains around the city of Bayun in I Dolomiti Montagne, the Dolomite Mountains. E can come with diacritics. Now, similar to all vowels in L'alfabeto Vèneto, if it has a grave accent, that means that the emphasis is on that part of the word. When it is e grave, it makes an open mid-front unrounded vowel, like e. E acute, on the other hand, makes a near-close near-front unrounded vowel, like I. F is pretty simple. It's normally just a voiceless labiodental fricative. Fe, F. J is even more wild than che. If J is followed by E or E, it's a voiced post-alveolar affricate, like J or G. If it's followed by enge, then it's a voiced alveolar nasal followed by the voiced palatal approximant, like nya, a nya. If it's followed by any other letter besides e, or enge, then it's just the voiced velar plosive, like ga, a ga. Akka never stands alone as a letter in its own right. It's more of just a diacritic used to modify other letters. As I said before, if akka is preceded by che, then it makes a voiceless velar plosive, like ka, a ka. If it's preceded by de, then it makes a voiced dental fricative, like the, a the. If akka is preceded by j, then it makes a voiced velar plosive, like ga, a ga. And when akka comes after zeta, then it makes a voiceless dental fricative, like tha, a tha. E is simple, just a closed front unrounded vowel, E. E longo, similar to cesadia, isn't present in every variant of Venet, but when it is there, it makes a voiced palatal approximant, like ya, a ya. Elle makes something similar to a voiced alveolar lateral approximant, la, a la. Elle evanescente. In America, we call this L with bar. It's not present in every Venet dialect, but it has a huge diversity of sound it can make. Ayora, it can be completely silent, just ignored, like around the city of Rovigo, close to El Mar Adriatico, the Adriatic Sea. There near the coast is where it could be silent, or maybe a voiced palatal approximant, or an open mid-front unrounded vowel, similar to e grave. Other times it's pronounced just like the regular L, so it can also be a voiced alveolar lateral approximant, such as upland of Vicenza, sort of in the Picoie Dolomiti, the Little Dolomite Mountains. There in the mountains, they say it just like a normal L. In other areas, it might also render as a voiced palatal plosive, and obviously it can make any sound in between any of these I have listed. Now, sometimes it's hard to find L with bar, so when using electronics, Venet texters will type the quid symbol for L evanescente, so don't be surprised if you see Venet text with sterling scattered throughout. Even still, there are times when L with bars and quids aren't available, so this letter is used. This one's called L with stroke in American English, but it isn't really a part of L'alfabeto Vèneto. M is simple and tends to make a voiced bilabial nasal. Ma, ma. Eng can either be a voiced velar nasal, nga, or a voiced alveolar nasal, na. As I mentioned when talking about j, if there's a j followed by a eng, then they make the nya sound. For o, if it has a grave accent, then it might make an open mid-backrounded vowel, like aw, whereas if it has an acute accent, it tends to make a close mid-backrounded vowel, like o. P makes a voiceless bilabial plosive, pa, a pa. R is another one that changes depending on where the Venet speaker learned the language. R is trilled most of the time, like in places like El Estado de Puebla, the state of Puebla, or El Estado de Rio Grande del Sud, the state of the Big Southern River. In those places, it may make a voiced alveolar trill. However, near Yayaguna de Venezia, the Venetian lagoon, R is not trilled and renders more like a voiced alveolar approximant. Around the city of Mestre, they say era, more like er, closer to how Americans do it. Esse. Most of the time, esse is a voiceless alveolar sibilant, like sa, a sa. However, when esse immediately precedes be, de, je, elle, emme, enge, r, or ve, then it can render as a voiced alveolar fricative, like za, zba, zda, zja. Te is simple, usually something around voiceless alveolar plosive or a voiceless dental plosive. Ta, a ta. U is a close backgrounded vowel. U. Ve tends to be a voiced bilabial fricative. Va, or a voiced labiodental fricative. Va. X is not present in equal proportion across the dialects of Yayengua Veneta, but it makes the voiced alveolar fricative. Za, a za. Finally, zeta. Most of the time it's the combination of two sounds in quick succession. The voiced alveolar plosive, da, followed immediately by the voiced alveolar fricative, za. So you can think of it as equal to a de and x. Now, if aka immediately follows zeta, then they make a voiceless dental fricative, tha, a tha. One mostly sees zeta and aka beside each other in words around Dolomiti Montagne, the Dolomite Mountains, such as where the Piave River runs by the city of Bayonne. Just to recap over the digraphs, che and e make a chi sound, che and e make che, che and akka make ka, de and akka make the, efe and akka make fa, je and e make g, je and e make je, je and akka make ga, je and enge make nia, esse, che, and e make stje, esse, che, and e make schi, and zeta akka make tha. And for some of the common diacritics you might see, che can have a cedilla underneath of it, making it che cedilla, and akka is essentially just a diacritic in L'alfabeto Vèneto. As for the vowels, all of them can have a grave accent, and that just means that the emphasis is going to be on that syllable. But for e and o, they can have acute accents, which is going to change the sounds that those two make.